stage is all yours, Devesh. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, superb. Thanks, others. Thanks for having me here today. It's a pleasure to present to Skillzo, and I'm excited to share a lot of information with all the students in the community. And meanwhile, may I request everyone to mute themselves? All right. So, and I can see one of our next genius applicants here. Hi, Abhilasha. Good to see you. Okay. So, uh, in today, it's going to be an hour-long session. In the first 20, 25, or about 30 minutes, I'm going to present about the cost of education in US, UK, Canada, Australia, Singapore, Europe, India. And following that, I'm going to present about the different kinds of scholarships that are available in different parts of the world, different countries of the world, right? So you will get a overview. I'm going to be a little fast, so if you are, because I want to cover a lot in this next 30 minutes so that I can keep some time for Q&A. So please be active when you listen to me. Uh, make notes wherever needed. Of course, this session is being recorded, so you will get a recording of this. But listen actively. Don't do multiple things at the same time. Just chill for the next 45 minutes. Sit down, get your notebook and a pencil so that you can make a note of whatever you want to uh, make a note of. Yeah. With that, let's start. And here we go. Undergraduate education cost for Indians across the world. So I've got the cost of education for Indian students across the world, starting off with a disclaimer that when you study abroad or when you study in any country, the cost of education varies a lot of times with the kind of program that you're studying. But I've got a general cost now. When you, in the next few slides, you will see that I've got the cost of, an average cost and not a very specific program-based cost. This costs are as per 2022-23. So some costs would have risen since then. This is the average fees that we are talking about, not fees which include scholarships and all. Of course, there are currency fluctuations to be considered. Cost varies from college to college, and some countries have a 3-year program, some countries have a 4-year program. So you'll have to consider all of these factors when you are thinking about studying abroad. You have to think about a lot of different factors when you're trying to find out what the cost of education is. Cost is not something that a lot of you think about when you start applying to colleges. This is something a lot of parents usually worry about. But as a 16, 17-year-old, you must start thinking about how much your education is going to cost, how much your family, your parents will have to invest in your undergraduate education. Yeah. So here we go. To all of those students who are just joining, we are talking about the cost of education in different parts of the world. And I'm going to share with you what all different costs are. And following that, I'm going to show you country-wise comparison of the different costs in different countries. Yeah. Number one is the main and the biggest cost for you is the tuition fees. The tuition is what you pay for an undergraduate education to the college. It is usually paid in either 2 or 3 installments, semester-wise or quarter-wise. The second biggest cost is the living expenses, which is your room and board, your personal and travel expenses, your health insurance, and your books. And finally, any unplanned or incidental expenses. These are the main costs involved when you study abroad or in India also. Yeah. Let's start off with the US. Cost of education in the US. A very brief snapshot or an overview of how much it would cost to study at a private research university. There are different kinds of universities abroad. Private universities, liberal arts colleges, public universities, community colleges. There are various kinds of universities, and the cost would vary between the kind of university that you are studying. A private research university is a university like Harvard or Stanford or a NYU or a Syracuse University. The cost of education would be somewhere in the range of 80 to 90,000 US dollars without a scholarship. We are not talking about scholarships here, guys. That's something you should make a note of. $80,000 is roughly 65 lakh rupees as per the current exchange rate. And $82,000 includes everything. But again, this is a range. Some colleges charge 90K, 90,000 USD. Some colleges charge 75, 80,000 USD. On an average, 82 to $85,000 is the fees of most private universities. Many students, of course, get a scholarship on the top of this. The second kind of college is a liberal arts college, like a Harvey Mudd College or a Union College or a Trinity College. Again, the cost is about $82,000. Public universities are universities like UMass Amherst, State University of New York, College of Charleston, Purdue, of course, is another public university. Georgia Tech is one of those public universities. The cost would be 55,000 USD, where 40,000 is the tuition fees and about 15,000 are the living expenses. Again, note that these public universities won't give you any scholarship. They won't give a scholarship to international students. Yeah. 1 second. Next is a community college. Community college are very small 2-year colleges. And again, that's a different, I can't give you a lot of details about what a community college is. But community colleges are 2-year colleges which give you an associate degree, following which you go to a bachelor degree or a 4-year college. And the fees there is very, very low. So a lot of you who are thinking about bringing down the cost of education for, and if you want to study in the US or Canada, community college can be a good option for you because the fees there is pretty low. The overall fees there is pretty low, so that you can save a lot of money in your first 2 years, and then eventually you can transfer to a 4-year college. Let's move to the UK. There are different now in the UK, I've segregated this as per the location. You know, where is it located? Where is the uh, university located? A university which is located in a city, the tuition fees might be low, but the living expenses would be pretty high. This is GB pounds, Great Britain pounds, or pounds in general. UCL, Imperial College, London School of Economics. These are all located in or around London, which means it would be quite expensive to live there. The tuition fees is in the range of 33,000 pounds. Uh, Universities like Oxford and Cambridge are expensive. 40,000 pounds is the tuition fees, and about 18,000 is the living expenses. Again, in the UK, the cost fluctuates a little more as per the course. In the US, the fluctuation of the cost as per course is less, but in the UK, the cost fluctuates more depending upon what you're planning to study over there. In universities which are located in smaller towns like University of Bath or University of Bristol, the living expenses will be slightly less and the tuition fees also will be slightly less. And then there are universities which are located in smaller town and they're less selective universities. Actually, they are less selective means they would give admission to more students. The admit rate is higher. So there again, the fees is lower and the living expenses are also lower. The most expensive programs in the UK or anywhere else in the world are the medicine programs, where the cost can go up to 66,000 pounds. The tuition fees itself is 50K GBP, which is about 55 lakh rupees per year. And these are all per year costs, by the way. These are not 4-year costs. These are per year costs. Canada. Again, in Canada, I've divided it as per city, universities located in city or small towns, and the less selective universities located in small towns. UBC, U Toronto are the two top universities in Canada, located in big cities. And here the fees is about, everything included is about 66,000 Canadian dollars, which is about 35 lakh rupees. In public universities like Alberta and McMaster, the tuition fees is slightly less. The living expenses also are slightly less. And they are also located in smaller towns. So of course, when a university is located in a smaller town, the fees is less. It's 52,000 Canadian dollars, which is about 26, 27 lakh rupees. Universities located in less selective universities located in smaller towns would cost much less. Like a university in Saskatchewan, the University of Saskatchewan will have the tuition fees is 25,000 Canadian dollars. Living expenses are about 12K Canadian dollars, so that would come out to be 37K, which is about 15 to 20 lakh rupees per year. And finally, just like US, Canada also has community colleges where the fees is much lower. Now let's move to Singapore. There are three big top universities, and the cost across the three universities in Singapore is very similar. It's about 45 to 50,000 Canadian dollars, which in rupee terms is about 30 lakh rupees as per the current rate. These are very selective. Students might want to go to Singapore to study, but the challenge with Singapore is that the universities are quite selective over there, and getting admission in Singapore becomes difficult for someone whose academics are not very strong. So to get into Singapore, your academics need to be very strong. Moving on to Netherlands, actually not Netherlands. Moving on to Europe, I've taken up 5, 6 countries in Europe, and then again, the thing about Europe is there are some private universities and then there are some public universities. In public universities, in government funded universities, the cost of education will be very low. The tuition fees will be very low, but the living expenses are always high in Europe. Europe is an expensive country, expensive continent to live in. And within Europe also, different countries will have different cost of living. Some countries will be more expensive, like France. And in France, if you live near Paris or in Paris, you'll have to pay a lot. Whereas a country like Hungary, and where if you live away from city centers, where you live in rural locations, the cost of living will be lower. In general, the tuition fees in Europe is much lower as compared to UK and US. Living expenses are at par or higher than the cost of living in UK or US. Netherlands, the University of Amsterdam, it's 12,000 euros plus about 14,000 euro is the living expenses. So that's about 25 lakh rupees, 25, 26 lakh rupees per year. France, a university like Sciences Po, which is one of the most selective universities in France, the tuition fees is $13,000. Living expenses would be much higher because you're living in Paris, expensive city. Spain, University of Navarra, known for their business programs. The tuition fees is about 10,000 euros. Living expenses are again about 15,000 euros. Germany, all of you would know that Germany offers free tuition. What free tuition means is that public universities, you don't have to pay the tuition fees. You only have to pay the living expenses. There are some, not all programs are in English. Some programs which are in English, you can benefit from that. Some programs are not in English, they're in German. So you need to learn German to benefit from these programs. Tuition fees in the public universities in Germany is pretty low. Living expenses, of course, they don't fund the living expenses. You have to pay it for you by yourself. And same way, University of Pech in Hungary, tuition fees is low, but the living expenses are pretty high. And finally, India, there are colleges like St. Xavier's in Mumbai where the fees is $50,000, but to live in a place like Mumbai, you'll have to pay roughly 10,000 rupees. Hey, what, 50,000 rupees? This is all in rupees, right? So the tuition fees is about 50,000 rupees and the living expenses are about 10,000 per month. So that's 1.2 lakh rupees. So in a college which is heavily funded by a foundation, by a trust, the tuition fees is usually on the lower end. Now let's talk about IITs and IISc. Again, these costs are rising now. This is to study at a IIT, you have to spend somewhere in the range of 5 lakh, 6 lakh rupees per year. Yeah. To study at a private university, like private engineering college like BITS Pilani, you have to pay about 6 lakh, 7 lakh rupees per year. To study at a small liberal arts college in India, you have to pay somewhere in the range of 8 to 10 lakh rupees per year. And medicine programs are always expensive. Fees will be 15 to 20 lakh rupees per year and the living expenses. So for the 4-year, 5-year program, you'll have to pay 70, 80 lakh to almost a crore of rupees. Yeah. And in medicine, I see a lot of discrepancies. Some colleges charge much more than there are management seats which students can get if they have lots of funding to study medicine in India. Those are called management quota. Yeah. So that's a little bit about the cost of education. I'll pause here for 1 second, like 5 seconds, and then continue. Oops. Okay. Let's talk about the different kinds of scholarships. There are various kinds of scholarships that are offered by different countries, by different universities, and you can benefit from that if you know or if you have a basic sense of how these scholarships are offered. There are some scholarships which are offered directly by the university, they're offered directly by the college that you're applying to. Scholarships are usually merit-based scholarships. Then there is a need-based financial aid, which depends upon how much need, financial need you have, how much your family can afford, how much they can show as their funding. And depending upon need, uh, they provide you, they give you need-based financial aid. Then there are scholarships offered by external organizations or collated by external organizations like Next Genius or Tata Trust or Inlax Foundation. Another kind of opportunity is a loan. Usually, some universities also give you a loan which you'll have to repay at the end of, once you graduate and once you start working. Universities themselves give a loan. Then there are education loans which you can get from banks in India. Then there is something called as grant, which is usually given for a specific purpose. If you are going to a university and if you are, let's say, uh, a student with high merit, and they can give you a grant for a specific purpose. If they can give you a grant to attend a conference, that they can give you a grant to work on a project or things like that. Then there is something called as federal aid. Federal aid is the aid or scholarship given by the government of that country. Federal aid is usually applicable to the citizens of that country. So if you are an American citizen living in India, if you're an American citizen living in India, you will be eligible for federal aid. Then there are work study or on-campus jobs. Many universities will say, well, we understand that you can't pay a lot of money, but we have on-campus jobs. You can work with us, you can work on campus, and we will provide you some more aid as a work study option, or as, that is also shown in your offer letter a lot of times. If you express an interest to the university and say that, I want to work on campus, you'll have to talk with them. They'll say, okay, we'll give you a little bit of work study, which is somewhere in the range of $3,000 to $5,000. Another very interesting way of bringing down the cost of education is by um, living off campus. While not all colleges will allow you to live off campus, you must live on campus, but you can live off campus also and save on the living expenses, because usually on campus accommodations are quite expensive in the US and in other countries as well. There are government funded scholarships. Government funded scholarships are scholarships which are funded by the government of that particular country. Sciences Po is a typical example. I just met someone from Campus France here, and I was talking about the different kinds of scholarships offered by them. And Sciences Po, they say that, that while the tuition fees is 26,000 euros, 13,000 is being funded by the French government, and 13,000 is something you will have to pay by yourself. Similarly, Germany has a lot of those kind of scholarships. And athletic scholarship. Athletic scholarships are scholarships which are provided to athletes. Uh, and these athletes are recruited, or these are, universities find these athletes, they involve the coach in the recruitment process. And once the coach says, yes, we like this student, we want them on a football team, soccer team, or squash team, you get access to those athletic scholarships. Let me show you now some country-specific scholarships. Merit scholarships are scholarships which are offered by more universities which are selective And these are quite competitive scholarships. These are offered by universities like BU, which is Boston University, New York University, Harvard College. Who doesn't offer a merit scholarship? Public universities usually won't offer merit scholarships to international students. Universities like Georgia Tech and Purdue won't offer Indian students a merit scholarship. Then there are need-based financial aid, which is offered by the top universities like MIT, Harvard, Princeton, Yale. These colleges are called need-blind colleges, which means as long as they are ready to accept you, as long as they want to have you on their campus, they will cover full need. There are some colleges will cover full need, some colleges which won't cover the full need. When I say that full need means that if you can pay $10,000 per year, but the cost of tuition is about $70,000, then the colleges which cover full need will pay the remaining $60,000, or they will waive off the remaining $60,000. See, students, one thing that you should be aware of is that very, very, very few students, a minuscule of students would get a full need scholarship at a place like MIT, Harvard, Princeton, or Yale. Yeah. While you might all say that, I am in the top 1% of my class, there are 100,000 students like that in India, out of which about 300, 500 students are applying to universities like this. So always look at the probability of winning a full need scholarship at a place like Harvard, Princeton, Yale kind of place. Yeah. Who doesn't offer a need-based scholarship or a full need? Colleges which say that they are need aware, they don't offer need-based scholarship, which means they will not accept you. They will not give you an acceptance if you don't show sufficient funds to attend those colleges. Then there are college scholarships which are offered by private trusts like Next Genius. And as others were saying earlier, Next Genius is going to offer about 200 scholarships. 100 scholarships this year, 200 will be shortlisted. 100 students will eventually get a scholarship. I'm going to talk about Next Genius at the end of this presentation anyway. Athletic scholarships, not all institutions would offer athletic scholarship. Only institutions which are NCAA Division 1 or Division 2 will offer a athletic scholarship. So you must look at the athletic division, NCAA division of that college. But in a brief, Division 1 schools are those schools or those colleges, those universities which pay a lot of attention to sports, where they have sports team and there is a lot of sporting activity going on, whereas a Division 2 or a Division 3 school is someone where students just play for fun. They don't have a lot of teams of their own, or they don't compete at a university level. Yeah. Georgetown, University of Washington, Duke are some examples of Division 1 universities. Who doesn't offer? Usually Division 3 colleges or small liberal arts colleges won't offer an athletic scholarship. Coming to UK, there are merit-based scholarships which are offered by the more selective, more competitive universities, and these scholarships are also quite competitive. In UK, I've seen usually the chances of winning a scholarship is lower as compared to the US. UCL, that's University College London, Warwick, Imperial College, these all offer some merit scholarships, but these are in the range of 5 to 10,000 pounds, not very high. Very rarely they would offer a full tuition scholarship to an international student, very rarely. Scholarship range is pretty low. Pay attention to whether it is a one-time award or a full or for undergraduate program. A lot of universities would also offer a scholarship which is just for 1 year and not renewable after all, for all 3 or 4 years. Something to pay attention to when you are applying. All universities will have some sort of funding or bursary scholarship opportunities for students. Pay attention to the specific deadlines for those scholarships. Then there are university-specific scholarships like Reach Oxford Scholarship for developing countries at Oxford. So you will have to look at the scholarship page of these websites, these universities, because all of them will run some kind of scholarship program for students applying to them. Then there is a Transform Together Scholarship for international and EU students at Sheffield Hallam University, Dennis Holland Scholarship at UCL, Edinburgh Global Undergraduate Mathematics Scholarships, students who have exceptional math skills. Yeah. Canada. Again, merit scholarships are offered by UBC, U Toronto, York, McMaster, Carleton, Calgary. Some of the see something very interesting about Canada is that some of the less popular universities in Canada have a very low tuition fees. I was just talking about University of Saskatchewan in my earlier slides. Canada is interesting because some of the lesser known universities will have much lower fees, but you must pay attention to the kind of university you are going to. Sometimes a university is just a building in Canada, right? You might have seen some of those videos where the students were defrauded. Pay attention to that. If you are 100% sure that this is a genuine university, you have seen campus, you have seen videos online, you know someone who have gone there, and still if the fees is low, then go ahead with that. Yeah. But this is a very interesting opportunity for students to study in Canada. Again, you can explore the university specific scholarships. Always pay attention to the deadlines and the timeline. Not, some scholarships will have an earlier deadline as compared to the application deadline. So pay attention to that. Then there are some university specific scholarships. UBC, University of British Columbia, says that they have devoted more than 35 million Canadian dollars to offer merit and need based scholarships, but you need a counselor recommendation for that. One of the most popular Canadian scholarship is the Lester B. Pearson scholarship offered by University of Toronto. All of you would have heard the name if you are thinking about Canada. Like a lot of students have heard about the Tata Cornell scholarship, but remember that very, very few students are going to get that. Same way, Lester B. Pearson scholarship, hundreds of students apply for it, but only a handful of them end up winning these scholarships. Each year, approximately only 37 students from around the world will get a scholarship. So you can imagine the kind of competition that it has. York University has a scholarship of their own that is a merit-based scholarship worth $60,000 to $100,000 across 4 years, which means per year it's about 15 to 25K USD. Entrance scholarship for American and international students at Carleton, which is up to 44,000 Canadian dollars per year. Europe, the most popular European scholarship and the most talked about scholarship is the DAAD scholarship program, which offers multiple kinds of scholarships to students from around the world. You must check out their website. Make a note of that if you are looking for Germany DAAD scholarships. And then there is a Deutschland stipendum, which is a stipend that all students in Germany get, which is up 300 euro per month stipend that international student uh, uh, gets. This is something that the German government gives to attract the top kind of students. Same way that the Danish government, that the government in Denmark also offers scholarships to students who go to the participating universities. These scholarships are not offered to students who go to any university in Denmark, but to the participating universities. Scholarships offered by the Danish government. These can be full or partial scholarships, and similar scholarships are also offered by the governments of Netherlands, Finland, and Sweden. Then there are university-specific scholarships like the one offered at the Sciences Po, where 50% of the scholarship, 50% of tuition fees is covered by the French government. Let's look at Singapore. Again, there are merit-based scholarships which are offered by NUS and NTU, National University of Singapore, and Nanyang Technological University. Then there is one very interesting kind of scholarship in Singapore, which is for all non-Singaporean citizens, in which they will, in exchange for the grant received under the tuition grant scheme, they are required to apply for that and sign an agreement that they will work in Singapore for 3 years. Yeah, but it makes sense because you apply for it, you apply for a tuition grant scheme. If you get a scholarship, the only commitment, which is a good one, is that you will have to work in Singapore for 3 years. Nothing wrong in that. Yeah, these are the universities, NTU, NUS, SMU are some of these universities which are a part of the tuition grant scheme. Then there are some scholarships which are offered by NUS and NTU themselves, like the Science and Technology Undergraduate Scholarship for students from Asian countries, which cover the tuition and living expenses. Then there is a NTU Scholars University Scholars Program, which offers merit-based scholarships again. And then there is a ASEAN Scholarship for students from Asian countries. Yeah, that's it. That's about it's 12:34 now. We have about 25 minutes for Q&A. I hope you found this helpful. I know that this is a lot of information for all of you, and it's not possible to take all this information in at once, but I hope you found some of this helpful. Let me just very briefly share with you about the Next Genius Scholarship Program. The Next Genius Scholarship Program is a program which offers merit-based scholarships to students from India. This program has been running for 8 years now, and we have helped 300 students from around the country. Many of these students have graduated now, and they are doing exceptional things in their lives. They're working in places like Google, Meta, KPMG, Oracle, Morningstar, and these are real students who are in the US right now. Many of them are doing their masters in places like Columbia, Rice, and their lives have completely transformed from where they were in grade 12 to now, where with the kind of success that they are achieving. The program is open for grade 12 students. Students who are in grade 12 can apply to us. We have recently closed the deadlines, but if there are any students in this Zoom meeting right now who are still interested, just connect with others. Others can share my details with you, and you can still be considered for the Next Genius Scholarship Program. You'll have to be very active. The program is looking for extra or looking for students who want to study primarily in the US. We are offering full tuition scholarships and partial scholarships at a set of universities. These are some fantastic small liberal arts colleges where these scholarships are offered. And we have seen that many students benefit from these kind of scholarships. It's a very simple process. You have to apply online, take a test, participate in a couple of rounds of interviews, submit your full college application, and finally participate in the interviews. If the why is clear, the how becomes easy. If the why is clear, if you know why you want to apply for this scholarship, the process is pretty simple and straightforward. There's nothing difficult about it. Uh, this year, 400 students are shortlisted for the scholarship interviews, which is the final stage. You can be one of them. And of these 400 students, roughly 200 are going to end up winning a scholarship, of which eventually 100 will end up going to the US on that scholarship. Yeah. That's why the confusion between the 200 and 100 others. These are my details. Of course, Adarsh has access to all of these details. You can connect with him and get access to this. I'm very active on LinkedIn. If you are a LinkedIn user, connect with me on LinkedIn and feel free to write to me. I always reply to my messages on LinkedIn. And yeah, share, two more small programs we run is the volunteering program, which others shared about in the Skills of WhatsApp group. And second is a summer school scholarship program where you can win scholarships to attend summer school. That's my time. Thank you, everyone. I'm here happy to answer any questions that you have now. Over to you, others.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your time. And I found this session so valuable. So I used to consider myself that I have all the knowledge of scholarships, but after this session, I felt, oh, I didn't knew all these points, all these important points, I would say, and especially about the countries, except US. So mostly in our generation, US is more famous, but this scholarship in Singapore or the other countries, you told us about was amazing. So I think now we can, get open for questions, and I think many would be here, having questions. So if
Sure.
anyone has any question, just raise their hands, and they can either, put in the chat or unmute themselves and ask.
And let me also thank Adarsh for hosting this session. Adarsh, you're doing great work. All the best. Keep doing this. Continue to support the community in whatever way possible. Good luck. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And again, so thank you so much for, on behalf of the community, they are very, grateful for this.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. One question I can see in the chat is the Next Genius program applicable for universities in Germany? No, then but the Next Genius scholarship program is applicable for a university in Spain called IE University in Spain. Okay, there's another question. Can you let us know more about how can we get into the US with a good scholarship? See, to get into the US, first try to identify what you want to study. Then try to identify the kind of university that you want to go to. Then there is a simple application process, which is not so simple actually. There are lots of steps involved. You have to fill your common app, you have to invite your counselors, you have to invite your recommenders, you have to submit, get your finances in place. If you are working with a school which has a counselor, you are very lucky. Very few schools in India have a counselor. So go to your career counselor, get help from them. They will be able to guide you. Yeah, if you need more information, don't hesitate in reaching out to me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to answer. Another question is, does Next Genius offer scholarship to help students with NYFA University? No, we don't have any scholarships associated with the New York Film Academy. I think that's what NYFA is. Not right now, but there is a very nice college in New York State, and there is another very nice college near New York where they have fantastic theater programs. That's Muhlenberg. Abhilasha is applying to that. They are known for their theater and media and those kind of programs. In the state of New York, there's Syracuse, which also offers programs in film and media kind of majors. Yeah. Is
Wow.
the Next Genius program specific to any course? No, it's not specific to any course. You can apply to any program that you would like to study there. Others, you might have any questions on WhatsApp also. Please feel free to jump in wherever you like.
Yeah, sure.
Germany,
So
uh,
Gargi has a question, and I think she wants to unmute and ask. So I'll just
go ahead.
ask.
So I already typed in the chat, but
Yes.
then again, my question was that the Germany you talked about, it follows a 10+3 system of education, while India follows 10+2 system. So how do you like? What do you recommend to the Indian students?
See, most Indian students will do a 10+2, right? Now,
Yeah.
Germany, most universities would accept that and would accept that kind of a student. However, if it's a selective university who's saying, no, you have to complete one more year, you try and do one more year of diploma or certification from one of the universities, or maybe enroll at a university in India for a year, uh, do that 1 year and then move to Germany. Yeah, if your eyes are set on Germany, then you should follow a very straightforward process. Complete your 12th year, do one more year here, and then eventually move to Germany.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
Also, one question, I would like to ask on behalf of everyone is that, I have seen you talking about liberal art education a lot. I recently even saw your one of the videos talking in a school in
Yeah.
Lucknow. So, can you help us understand a little bit about
Absolutely.
it?
I see. I love the concept of liberal arts education, and that's because I never got that. I could never get a liberal arts education. When I was a 16-year-old, I my actually, when I was 14-year-old, someone told me take science, because that's what most students should do, take science. I took science. I'm from a CBSE school, so I did my 11th and 12th in science. Uh, but I at heart, I always enjoyed talking about business and commerce and money. But then everyone said that, you can always do commerce after
Hmm.
studying science, but you cannot do science after studying commerce. All bullshit, nonsense advice. You liberal arts education does not force you to choose your subject as a 16-year-old. No 16-year-old has that understanding of what they'll do 10 years, 15 years from now. Only when you go to college, only when you do a few courses, you realize that this is what I love doing, this is what I enjoy doing. And that's when you can declare your major. You can declare your major after your first year, after completing your first year, after exploring what education is like, after exploring what an undergraduate education is like. And that's the beauty of a liberal arts education, is that you don't have to declare a major early on. At the same
Oh
time,
yeah,
at small liberal arts
yeah.
colleges, just 1 second, I'm just going to, yeah. At small liberal arts colleges, you can uh, work very closely with the professors. A lot of next genius applicants, next genius students work not just with their professors, but they engage with the president of that college. So you can imagine the kind of exposure, the kind of engagements, the kind of conversations that they have when they are students, when they are 20-year-olds, right?
Mm.
So if you are 100% confident that you must do design or engineering or, let's say culinary arts, then you can look at a very specialist school. Yeah. If you're 100% confident, but even a lot of students who go to a culinary school, who go to a hotel management school, after a year, they decide, oh, this is not what I expected to be. I would rather shift and transfer to a different kind of university and do something basic over there, general over there, and then move to a very specialist field. Like a lot of students come to me and say, I want to study mechatronics or robotics in my undergrad. I said, dear student, study mechanical engineering or electronic engineering in your undergrad so that more fields get open to you and you're not just stuck with a very narrow field, because after 4 years, you don't know how the world is going to change, number one. And number two, you don't know how your mind is going to evolve and you might want to look at more broader fields. And that's
Mm.
why start with a little broader kind of education early on so that uh, in your masters you can do something more specific. And even in your undergrad also, you can, if you are very much interested in a specific kind of thing, you can do more projects in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next question is uh, there's this question from a student who's asking, please give me a short summary on Next Genius Scholarship for Entrepreneurship Program universities in the US. There are a lot of students, there are lots of universities which offer a business major or an entrepreneurship major. Very few universities will have an entrepreneurship major as a major. I know there are a couple of colleges like Wheaton College in Massachusetts has one, but instead of looking at entrepreneurship, look at business programs, because that will give you a broader idea of how business works, how to run a business. Yeah. Again, the process remains the same. You apply online, you participate in the Next Genius interviews, and you get the scholarship. Process is very simple. You can look at the website. um, um, it's the same for all the majors. It's the same for entrepreneurship, business, or psychology, anything. Another question is, a student is asking, can you tell us something about the volunteering program for Next Genius? The volunteering program is a program where this is open for grade 11 students who will go to grade 12, only for grade level students who have great communication and Zoom skills. We are looking for students who can communicate well and who can manage Zoom, because you are going to be a part of the Next Genius interview rooms, uh, in rooms where this year's candidates will be interviewing for the scholarship. So you will get to see what happens inside those interview rooms. It's a fantastic opportunity, because you get a real life, real time experience of what interviews are like. They are fun. Anyway, these interviews are fun, but you get to interact with the admission officer. You not just interact with them, you coordinate with them in how to manage those interview rooms. It's an extraordinary opportunity to sort of um, experience this whole process as a volunteer. Others has access to those link to sign up for the volunteering process. Sign up for it if you are a grade 11 student.
So basically, people will be hanging out with their future recruiters, correct?
Yes, absolutely. The students will get to interact and engage with the future recruiters, admission officers from various universities.
Yeah. Also, one question again I will ask from my side is that, you see hundreds or maybe thousands of applications each year, And I think everyone has some sort of intent to learn and grow in life. But there must be, one thing that, acha, matlab, this guy is going to be selected or not selected. So can you like just tell me one factor that could be,
Yeah,
motivation why you're applying, or what's that, North Star that Next Genius or any scholarship program looks for, that North Star?
absolutely. See, I'll tell you one thing. First of all, uh, everything takes its time. Uh, uh, Never look for shortcuts, right?
Mhm.
While others you are not looking for shortcut, or you're not looking for shortcuts for your community, I can tell you one thing, which matters a lot, and that is being yourself and understanding yourself, understanding who you are, what motivates you, what inspires you. And as a 17-year-old, you have a lot of students around you, and you a lot of times want to be like them, want to fit in, right? You want to uh, do what everyone else is doing, right? But don't do that. I was never given this advice when I was a 17-year-old. I did what a lot of students would do. I ended up going for an engineering program. And now when I'm 30 plus, I've realized that if someone had told me to be myself, and if someone had told me what is the meaning of being myself, I think it would have been a much more fulfilling journey. I'm really happy with what I'm doing right now, but it would make you a more fulfilled and happy individual. Yeah, be yourself. Try to find out what inspires you. Don't try to uh, get that FOMO. There is no fear of missing out. Don't think that you'll miss out on something if you don't do what someone else is doing. Don't try to just hang out with the same group of friends every time. Don't try to cut off people. Don't try. Be inclusive in your friend circle, because you don't know who the other person is. And try to identify the kind of university where you would fit in well, where who would cater to your aspirations. Yeah, because that would matter a lot, because that's the place you're going to spend 4 years of your 4 extraordinary years of your life. Yeah, be yourself. Try to explore yourself. Try to find out about yourself, what inspires you, and try to figure out what kind of university would you like to go to.
Mhm. No, I think I definitely agree. I have a very little experience in life, very, very little, but I think I definitely agree to the part that, do what you love and don't be in FOMO of anything. And I think our generation are mostly, in FOMO, I believe, which is not a good thing, but yeah, bitter truth or reality.
See, I'll tell you, it's not just about your generation. Every 17-year-old has
Mm.
that. When I was 17, when everyone else was 17, they have that. It's just become more apparent now because of the social media. You are so much on Instagram and Snapchat and all of that, that you are able to see what others are doing, and everyone just shows the best parts of their lives on social media. Not everyone's lives are so outgoing, and they're not so great. Everyone has their bad days, sad days, and just feel confident about yourself that you are going to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's an awesome, very, very awesome advice. And in the meantime, we have two more questions in the chat.
Yes. There was a segment that grade 10 students can also apply if they have exceptional communication. Yeah, this was the Next Genius volunteering that we were talking about. Grade 10 students can apply for it, but very, very few grade 10 students will be selected for it. The second kind of program is the summer school scholarships, which is a scholarship to attend Oxford and Cambridge summer schools in the UK on a full scholarship plus flights. These are open for 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, not open for 12th graders. What are the prerequisites for applying for Next Genius Scholarship Program? You should be either an Indian citizen, Nepali citizen, or Bangladeshi citizen. Or if you're not any of these, then you should be studying at a school in India, Nepal, or Bangladesh. So if you're a foreign citizen studying in India, you will be eligible for a Next Genius Scholarship. Usually anyone who, we don't look at your academics, or, there is not one thing that we look at when you're offering the scholarship. There is a whole range of things, your academics, extracurricular activities. If your academics are low, but something is higher, you're still in the running for winning that scholarship. So there is not just one thing. There are many, many things that we look at when we shortlist the students for scholarships. There is a long question. Let me read what that is. In most politicians offer at least somewhat for your account. Okay, a student is asking very interesting question where he's saying that even if we win a full scholarship, we still have to show $40,000 in our bank accounts. No, you don't need to show 40,000. You can show up to 25,000, because that is the amount that you need to show towards your living expenses. 40 is good, if you can show $30,000, 40,000, it's good. You can show it as a sum of multiple bank accounts also. You don't have to show it in a single account. And that amount is usually asked by the university. The visa people won't ask you how much money you have in your account. In most cases, very rarely will they ask you to show you your papers, show them your papers. Yeah. Otherwise, the university will ask you that, okay, you need to show this much funding, uh, which uh, is also understandable because the university want to ensure that you don't drop off after first year of studying there. Yeah, because education in the US is expensive. It's only, the cost can only be brought down by scholarships like this. But to answer your question, you don't need to show 40K. Showing 25 to 30K USD is also good enough. Uh, but you must show, your parents should be able to show some regular income sources.
Mhm.
Some tips on managing these financial documents. Again, there is something, this is something you should sit with your CA. Your parents should sit with your CA for this, chartered accountant, whoever they work with. Um, there is something called as the NSDL document. Most of the parents have something in their stocks or in their FDs or in their mutual funds, and there is a NSDL or a CDSL statement generated at the end of the month, which shows the full portfolio of their finances. So that is a very interesting document. Income statements, tax statements, these are some of the documents that the universities ask for. Bhumi is asking if Next Genius offers only merit-based scholarship. Yes, Next Genius offers only merit-based scholarships, not need-based scholarships. Could you give me a little more information about admission process for CSC undergrad program in USA? Again, when you study in the US, you don't enter as a computer science engineering major in most programs, in most universities. Some universities, you will still enter as a CS major, but in most small liberal arts colleges, you will enter as a admitted student, and then eventually you'll have an option of studying either computer science or psychology, business, anything that you would like to study. Yeah. So, but again, there are some very selective colleges. I know Syracuse University is one where you must declare your major, and in another Northwestern, Chicago kind of universities also, you must declare your major before being admitted, and then you will have to admit at the university as that major only, and then shifting from one major to a different major is usually a little difficult in those very selective universities. Yeah. If you're
Mhm.
applying for a CS major, start working on your own apps, start working on your own websites, start building your portfolio and your profile and all of that. Yeah, CS is one of the popular majors when you study abroad as an international student. Of course, a lot of Indian students want to study computer science, and I would encourage you to look beyond computer science. Yeah, that's my personal advice. Look beyond computer science. There's a lot of other things happening around you. All right, others, we have 3 minutes.
Yeah. So any
I
other
would,
question in your private chat? I think one more question I would like to, and
yes,
more to be biased towards the Skillso community. So if someone is from the Skillso community, you already are so kind to, offer them even applying after the deadline, which is very rare. And so thank you so much for this. This will be very helpful for few people I know. And any advantage they are going to, get if they're applying from this community, either for the volunteering program or the summer program or
yes.
the scholarship program.
So for the volunteering program, others, and we have had a discussion, and I think we would so usually, for the volunteering program, we get 300 application for 25 300 400 apps for 25 volunteers, and which is like a admit rate of about 10% acceptance rate.
Yeah.
For Skillso, we were happy to select more students, since I already know many of these students are more motivated, they are more enthusiastic about education, and that's why you are a part of Skillzo. We are happy to uh, encourage and get, a better admit rate of 25% or so. That is
Wow.
something I'm
Okay.
very happy to do.
Sure. So that's something, people will love from the community. And I think we can take this last question from Ashnika.
Yes, let's take this last question. Do we need to have a strong extracurricular in our major, or a mix of different extracurriculars would work? See, again, never look at a set formula. Do what you love. Do what you enjoy. If you enjoy watching movies, then watch movies, but then do something about it. Write a movie review. Write a fantastic movie review about it. If you love spending all your day on Netflix, or if you love playing the latest game, then be the best at it. Yeah. Do something with massive passion. There are two chain of thoughts. You can either be a jack of all, master of none, or you can be a super grand master of one. And you can be somewhere in the middle. You can be in that array of between these two. So you decide what you want to do. Yeah, it's in your hands. Do something which adds value to the community around you. Yeah, which yeah, that's most important at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No, but after everything else, academics matter the most. Yeah, for highly selective admissions, academics matter the most. So don't let your academics fall below a certain percentage. Keep focusing on your academics always.
By any chance, if anyone is looking to make any movie or something, please look up to my life. And yeah, so I think we have answered all the questions, so many questions, and I think it's all clear. By any chance, if anyone has any questions left, please ask because we are already on time.
Yes. And
Uh,
you can always take my number or my LinkedIn ID or email from others. I'll be happy to answer the questions later also. But it,
sure.
it was a pleasure being here, very engaging group. And it's always to sort of be in a group where students respond and they have questions. Because I make a lot of presentations and a lot of groups are not that active. So great job others doing that, creating this group. And it's all I am always very happy to engage with students and to support and to guide and mentor them in any possible way.
Yeah, I think that's your ikigai and passion. So yeah, I think last question from Ashnika. I think
Yes, please go ahead, Ashnika. And Bhumi, meanwhile, your answer is if you are looking at performing arts as a very selective university, then you must work on a portfolio. You must work on recording yourself on stage or wherever you can, um, and have that portfolio with you. Yeah, because you need to submit those video recordings or um, part of your plays or dance or whatever you do. Yeah.
I think we can unmute Ashnika.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead,
Good
Ashnika.
afternoon. So I'd
Afternoon.
want to ask that if I want to study economics, for example, but the universities look for activities in economics, but I cannot be an economist before being studying in college, right? So universities always look for their intended major extracurriculars.
I'll
What
tell
I have
you,
seen.
Ashnika, I have a very simple answer. There are so many things that you can do. You can become an intern somewhere where they're doing economics related subjects. You can do your own research. You can do an independent research about a topic that you love to talk about or you love to think about. You can record videos on economics and educating students about economics. Uh, you can become a statistician and deal with numbers and create a project of your own related to numbers. You can volunteer with an NGO who needs someone who wants to deal with economics, or you want to prepare your own report of something. Prepare a report about the state of economics in India. There's so much you can do. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Ashnika.
Yes, sir.
So
Actually, I wanted to do the CS major. It was just an example.
sure. So you want some ideas for activities?
Yes, sir. Sure. I'd like
Okay. See, CS, there's so much happening in computer science. You can create your own apps about something interesting. You can create your own website of something interesting. You can do something on Excel. There is a lot that can be done on Microsoft Excel, where you can create a tool to calculate something. You can you can learn some programming languages online. Learn the latest programming languages and gain certification for that. Yeah, you can look at how to bring CS and economics together, CS and bio together, CS and something else together, right? So try to think of those collaborations, those fusions, whatever two things you enjoy, maybe economics and computer science, bring those two together and create a project of your own.
Perfect. I think if anyone else is left, then you'd have to now go on LinkedIn, search his name, and DM him, disturb him a little on LinkedIn. And I think he's very, very active on LinkedIn and very generous enough to reply and respond. And once again, Devesh, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, others, and thanks everyone for joining today on a Sunday morning. This kind of sessions really energizes me for the rest of the day and rest of the week. So very happy to be here and support you in any way possible. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, others, once again. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.